and welcome back to the new and improved IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Juan Cena, and with me, as always, is Matt Riley. How are you doing tonight, Matt?
Oh, fantastic.
All right. Love to hear that. So, guys, this is a special IWAR Network Retro Wrestling Games channel update. So again, as you guys may have seen, we've been on hiatus for a little bit. Take a little bit of a summer vacation. That's all good. So I want to give you guys a heads up of what's coming up in the next few weeks, next few months, and perhaps the next few years. But first, I want to give an unsolicited plug to our good friend John Campbell. Now, for those of you who play the IWA, John Campbell is a IWA alumnus. He's a friend to the show, longtime personal friend of mine as well. And he recently became a Collar and Elbow sponsored athlete. So what does that mean for you? Now, if you guys ever checked out any of the Collar and Elbow gear online, it's actually some really cool stuff. It's wrestling shirts that you won't be embarrassed to wear on the street. Back in the day, you had a big shirt with Ultimate Warrior and some half-naked dude on your shirt. Yeah, you were being called a couple names by wearing that. A couple dirty looks and what have you. This is cool wrestling gear for the cool wrestling fan in your house. And John was so gracious in giving us his promo code so you get 10% off on your next order from Collar and Elbow. So guys, make sure you support our friend John at www.collarandelbowbrand.com and you get 10% off with the promo code CreatureFeature. So guys, I definitely want you guys to check that out. In addition, in another unsolicited advertising, my longtime personal friend Prince Nana has a Patreon page. So guys, make sure you go to www.patreon.com and type in Prince Nana, and he's going to be creating exclusive YouTube content, original music, and self-help for his patrons. Now, me personally, I'm part of the royal family. I do the $20 or more per month. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much I do pay, but I do the Royal Family membership tier. And in that tier, I get one arranged phone call with Prince Nana himself after 3 months. An Embassy Forever t-shirt, an 8x10 mailed to me personally with complimentary blessing incense. And then the two biggest treats that you get by becoming a patron, again, the $20 or more tier, you get 1+1 invite to a Ring of Honor event, non-pay-per-view house show after 3 months. Now, if you guys know anything about Ring of Honor and how expensive the tickets can be, this is a great value all on its own. In addition, for someone who is on YouTube and want to get my name out there, and I want to get views, more subscriptions, what have you, Prince Nana's official Twitter will follow you and then retweet any interesting posts. So again, if I post one of my videos and Prince Nana happens to retweet it, again, that's tons of likes, that's tons of views, and that's tons of subscriptions for me, hopefully. So again, please check out my good friend Prince Nana on patreon.com. So guys, I want to take some time out and I want to do a little histrionics for you guys out there. Again, with the relaunch of the channel, I'm trying to give you guys more content. The goal being bigger, badder, and better, just like WrestleMania 3. I do want to quickly go over the genesis of the IWAR Network Facebook group. Now, I created this group in 2015. Prior to that, we had been all on a message board. What was the name of that message board, Matt?
Hoosier board.
Okay. The Hoosier board. Like the Hoosier Dome.
Right.
So we were on that before. And in my personal opinions, message boards are dead. They've been replaced with Facebook groups and Reddit, which is kind of like a message board, but I'm not on that. For our little closed community that we have, again, we're almost at 100 members, and we were at 100 members before I did some house cleaning. Closed group, you can ask for an invitation, or you can be provided an invitation by me personally. Now, the beginning and genesis of this group essentially was I wanted a place where I could post my pictures and my trash talk for the upcoming cycles. Now, the message boards weren't really accommodating. You could probably embed some videos there if you really wanted to. It was really complicated, and I don't think it was really all that user-friendly in terms of posting material like we do on the Facebook page.
Right.
I think a good byproduct is the ability to DM, direct message somebody who, again, who's on the page. So if you guys want to work out angles, go over matches, or look for advice, again, this is a great place to do it. Now, the original idea, I believe I stole from Andy because I believe his page for the CWO went up first. I know the CWO was up. I think the LWL was up first. And then, Matt, you had the Ringside Magazine page as well. So
Yes.
basically looking at all that and seeing the lay of the land, I basically just stole the idea, with Matt's blessing, of course, created the IWAR network and started posting stuff. And then I think we started out with like 4 or 5 members. Originally, I think it was Robbie.
All hats.
It was you, me, Robbie Blood, Stephen Blythe, and maybe one other person to start. And now we've grown to almost 100 members. So I'm really happy about the way the group has turned out. There's lots of content. There's content on there almost minute by minute.
Yeah.
It's so fast and furious. Again, being on the page, Gold Tuesdays, is completely insane. I recommend anyone to take the day off that day, sit in front of your computer and watch anarchy and havoc ensue on Gold Tuesdays, because it's some of the most exciting, funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's awesome.
I was at work and I was checking my phone real quick, and I saw a post by Jake Joyce of like someone going insane waiting for the results to post. Like, come on!
So, Matt, how do you think the IWAR network group has changed the IWAR overall?
I think we've got a lot more people interacting, and I don't just mean in the sense of posting back and forth, like, actually like in the events and being more involved as far as trash talk and just competing. It's a lot more competitive. I think that makes it more fun for everyone. I know it can be times very frustrating to go cycle to cycle to cycle with nothing. That sucks. I know. But other times when you do win, it's like, yeah! I put that picture up of Randy Savage and Apollo Creed. Like it's either euphoria, like, oh yeah, or he's dead. He's dead. So I think the IWAR has really helped players to connect. I think the latest work by IWAR Flip is really helping to boost things too, because people are now seeing logos to their wrestlers and interactive, and then the posters he puts together. It really adds a dimension of authenticity to it that you don't see other places.
Yeah, Flip is amazing. He pushes me to another level, trying to get better at the stuff that I post. So I'm always trying to not one up him essentially, because I don't think I can, but it definitely gives me some focus. I'm like, oh, he posted something cool. Guess what? I gotta post something cool now.
Right.
So I think that's fantastic. But I think the IWAR Network page is a great tool. I think it makes a lot of the trash talk, the storylines more coherent, where you can actually plan out with the person that you're feuding with instead of waiting.
Good stuff.
All right. 1. So I think overall it's a great tool for anyone who's looking to be in feuds, stay in feuds, really have a good time, and really, has that communal spirit. Everyone is super respectful. There's no one cursing or cyberbullying, or we don't tolerate any of that kind of nonsense and shenanigans.
One-way ticket off the board.
Yeah.
Off the group, I should say.
Although I think we've only had to throw out one person.
Yeah, I think so.
One person that, I've kicked people off because they were fake accounts from India, but that's a whole other fucking scenario. So
we're gonna lose all of our Punjabi Playboy fans.
At first, I'm like, maybe they just Jinder Mahal fans. It's really working over there. Like, they're coming over. But it was like, no, it was like 5 in a row. No friends, fake picture. And I was like, man, these guys gotta go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quality content on the page. We've been testing live streaming. It's something that I've been, practicing with and playing around with. And, we'll see how that goes moving forward, since, there was only 3 people in the last live stream. Grr. So,
yeah.
So thank you, Luke and Steven, for joining me on that live stream of the Royal Rumble 1989. I do appreciate that. And, if there's more interest for that, if people are actually going to participate in it, then I'll do more in the future. So, no biggie there. I'm going to watch that pay-per-view anyway. So, in terms of overall channel updates, NWA 1983 projects still moving forward, still going to be doing those. Retro Wrestling Games presents our video game review show where we're going to go sit and play and review wrestling video game ever. Period. That will be moving forward as well. In addition, a brand new show with our good friend Michael Swanson where we dissect specific eras in professional wrestling. And our first show will be the New Generation. Again, this show is still untitled, and Michael should be doing research for that show right now. Now, research for me is just watching superstars from a particular year and reading Wikipedia and going from memory. Michael's going to do some pretty in-depth stuff for us moving forward, so I'm really happy to have him on board. Next up, we're going to have some announcements from our good friend Jake Joyce, who will be joining us. He is the Lieutenant Commissioner of the NWL, so I am here with my longtime personal friend Jake Joyce, and we're going to talk some NWL. How you doing tonight, Jake?
Good, how are you?
I am excellent as always. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the NWL Help Desk. Now, what the NWL Help Desk is, in a nutshell, it is an email address where our players in the NWL who are struggling with strategies, trash talk, getting into feuds, artwork, and pictures can get advice from one of our pre-selected experts. What's basically going to happen is that I'm going to receive an email, and then I'm going to export that email out to one of our representatives who are standing by. I think that's a great way for some of our frustrated players or some of the players that for some reason has not gotten in contact with us, for one reason or another, to basically have a catch-all scenario where they can get their needs met. They can get help with artwork from Flip and strategies from Matt and TT from Mike and Jake and a bunch of other guys that can really help those guys out, really elevate their game. So I'm really excited about this initiative, and we'll see how it goes. So Jake, what do you think about the help desk?
I think it's great. I think it's important to point out, too, that I think, at least for me, when I came back to this game last year, I thought to myself, I've played this game before. I don't need any help. And after my first couple cycles, I did pretty awful. I wasn't really taking any help. I wasn't really asking any questions. And once I finally reached out to Alex and Matt, I played the game a lot better. And I think that it's important to reach out to people who have been playing this game for a while. No, just not to assume that you know all of the tips and tricks from previous plays. And I know like a lot of younger players, newer players probably shouldn't feel afraid to reach out, because I think a lot of us do notice when there is a lot of energy with a player, but they just aren't hitting the right strat points. They shouldn't be afraid, because we're all friendly guys and we're all looking to make new friends. So,
yeah, I get bombarded with emails on the regular. It's almost like a part-time job at this point,
right?
Between messages and stuff like that. So, but I'm always eager to help, and for those people who I've helped already and Matt's helped already, you can see definitely a big difference in their game.
Right, definitely.
So again, I'm really excited about this initiative going forward, and we'll see how it plays out. We have a new championship.
We do.
The NWL. Tell me a little bit about the Bar Fight Championship.
Well, the Bar Fight Championship was a recommissioned version of the Nonconformist Championship that Ricky Kyle threw into Lake Fork, Texas. And what we're going to try to do is I initially wanted to make it where it would mirror a 24/7 type title where the belt could change hands numerous times throughout a bulletin. So if the wrestler who initially won it lost it to someone and then that person lost it to someone, it would just kind of flow throughout the entire bulletin. But that proved to be too impossible. So what it's going to be is that it's going to play much like an IWA regional, where if the champion is beaten by someone, it's the person who beats them by the most points becomes that new champion.
How do you challenge for the title?
So initially, what I think the initial process will be, just to get this off the ground, is that the current champion is Drunken Fisherman. The person who beats him by the most points this upcoming cycle, no matter if they've challenged for it or not, will become that champion. And I think once we get the ball rolling, the way it works, it'll be the same way as a regional works, where you have to directly challenge the champion and make a note of it in the stipulations and put bar fight. This way, we're just trying to make more of a commissioner's title that's more active or more frequent changing than the three that we already have established. I know some players were getting a little bit antsy with not being able to challenge for the other commissioners' titles just as freely as they could. So I figured that having this established would make more an easier to obtain title, and it could keep the commissioners' titles flowing the way they are now and have something to make other people happy. So all it requires is someone to directly challenge the current champion. If they beat them by the most points out of everyone that cycle, they become that champion.
All right, that's fantastic. So again, be on the lookout for the Bar Fight Championship, and make sure you guys challenge for this title belt. Again, a belt's only as good as the people holding it.
Right.
And if you're holding a championship, making sure that you're doing TT, about the championship and why you're the baddest man on the planet. Next up, Jake, tell us about our next NWL pay-per-view.
So NWL Conflict will take place cycle 103, which is the September cycle.
Hopefully.
I think we decided or figured out. NWL Conflict will be when Art Deco and Luther Alexander both draft their own teams and of active wrestlers in the NWL, and those active teams will face each other. And the team with the most wins Conflict, and it actually is for the highest wager in IWA history.
The history of the IWA.
And the entire history. But we will be holding an online draft on the IWAR page August 29th, and that way we can post the results in cycle 102, which is the Dog Day cycle. So this way the players kind of get an idea of who they're going to be fighting for the cycle before. So that'll be taking place August 29th. I think we said 8 Eastern.
Yes.
So that will be where that's happening, again, for the biggest wager in IWA history. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be determined, I believe. We're going to have to make up matches, I assume. Or we can do highest total strat. I don't think we've gotten this far, have we? Deciding how it was going to be contested.
I think the best way to do it will be highest total strat. So we're going to take the total number of, we'll take the 5 strategies, add them together, and then whoever has the highest wins. And if we choose to do elimination, which this probably should be, we'll just work backwards from the lowest strat to the highest.
Okay, perfect.
So I think that's the best way to do it. It's the easiest way to do it. Less work for me.
Right.
Which is always nice.
Well, I can always help too.
Yeah, absolutely. In addition, for that pay-per-view, we'll have normal pay-per-view matches as well. So make sure you get your challenges out there, and either DM me or email me what matches you want on the pay-per-view. We will have an NWL National Title Defense and a Tag Team Championship Defense as well. Those matches are yet to be determined, and the card is subject to change. And guys, if you're not on the IWAR Network Facebook page, put this on pause right now. Go to Facebook. Just type in IWAR Network in the search bar. Ask to join. I will approve you immediately, and then you can join the fun with the rest of us.
It really enhances the fun, so I can't recommend it enough.
Like, when Gold posts, that Tuesday is completely bananas.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
I can't. It's like Christmas.
People should take Tuesdays off because it's insane. It's fantastic.
I mean, I'm guilty of just sitting at my computer at work, just F5ing, spamming the F5 button to refresh from about 10 a.m. until it comes out. So it's definitely a stressful day.
Yes, it can come out as early as 11 o'clock, and we've seen it as late as 3 o'clock. So
right.
We're all pretty frantic, and everyone's involved, so it's pretty insane. So, okay, fantastic. So, Jake, thank you for joining me on this IWAR Network update. I do appreciate it, and I'm going to hear more from you in the future since you have a really good microphone.
Oh, yeah, I'm honored to be here.
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you, Jake, for that. Appreciate having you on the show. I think the Bar Fight Championship is going to be fantastic moving forward. I think it's going to be a great way to get people involved every cycle. Looking forward to NWL Conflict. Can't wait for the draft, the live draft on the IWAR Network Facebook page. So that's going to be really, really fun, and it's going to be really, really interactive, and I think it's going to be a good time by all. So don't forget that we do have the NWL Help Desk. Again, that's nwlhelpdesk@gmail.com is the email address. Again, these are for rookie players looking for help with artwork and trash talk and strategies. You'll get connected to one of our representatives, and they will help you in that process. I'm real happy about that, and I'm real excited about that as well. So in terms of current events, there's been some controversy as of late in
Go,
the
Joyce.
IWA. Let's lay all the cards on the table. A couple weeks back, there was a scenario where a commissioner was going to be taking over a league, and they weren't going to allow any female wrestlers in that league. It's going to be a male-only league. Apparently, that got squashed by the IWA. There were some complaints about it. And then essentially the commissioner who was taking over the league no longer really wanted to take over that league. And there was a debate on having women wrestlers fighting men and violence on women and what have you. And that whole debate took place. And actually, it was a pseudo debate on our book group as well, in terms of, should women fight men, and how, as a commissioner or how as the other player, react towards that. So the follow-up on that was recently a player went to the IWA and wanted all the male wrestlers banned from the ladies' leagues. From time to time, there are some male wrestlers who enter the ladies' leagues, and they always claim that they're either some sort of a transsexual or what have you. It happens from time to time, and I'm always on the fence with these things anyway. But Matt, what is your opinion before I give mine?
Well, I always feel like when it comes down to things, that's sort of a long, outdated argument. That something should have been done back in like the 90s or 80s, when people actually cared. People come into the game now and make wrestlers named after like emotions, adjectives, can of corn, like random crap.
After you.
After me. Yeah, after my guys. Small dicks. But whatever. It's like pointless. You don't give a shit. If you gave a shit, it would show in the way you played the game. So it's just mostly about someone just stirring shit up, stir shit. So whether it's, like, I'll give you an example. In the BRL, I've never been a fan of women showing up in men's leagues. Just never have been. But I understand that if you go to women's leagues right now, they all suck. They're terrible. Like, there's nothing going on. There's no trash talk. I think maybe with one trash talk the last time I looked at it.
It's just bad.
It's bad. So if you're sitting there going, well, I want to be in a league that's more fun to play, well, you go, okay, playing the BRL. So, for example, we had Queen Isabella, we had Jane the Vixen Red for a long time, kind of, both existing, doing well. Then we had some more wrestlers. Natalie Bowen showed up and some others. So we were like, all right, let's strike while the iron's hot. And I kind of put that out there, hey, would you guys want me to do a women's title? And it was overwhelming yes. So what we've done is create a separate division. Now, if you are that concerned, women wrestlers in your league ruining the aesthetics, just use your commissioner's belt and divide the divisions that way. You may notice in the BRL, we have a women's division. The women don't compete for the men's titles. The men don't compete for the women's title. Ta-da! There you go. So for those all getting cranky about it, I tell you, you know what? No one cares. No one cares. It's like South Park. It's just no one cares.
Yeah, for me, I don't understand why people are upset. I don't understand why people care. We have characters in this league. We have dogs and ducks and all kinds of shenanigans and tomfoolery. Who cares?
Right.
It's not even a big deal. And especially in the ladies' leagues where there's no trash talk in those leagues. For the players who have guys in that league, you don't trash talk. Like, I would even understand if you did some sort of misogynistic, like, oh, all the women should be in the kitchen type gimmick in there. But they don't do anything in there. So why does it even matter? The only thing that matters is the fact that they get their own ladies' championship on the front page. That's it. It's a nice, easy way to get your name on the front page if you really want to go down that route. But who wants to go down that route? Why would you want an easy path? I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want the competition? Why wouldn't you want to prove that you're the best? It makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. In a nutshell, I don't care. In terms of the IWAR, we don't care. And the IWL, I have women, I have men, I have ducks. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. I'm fine. How about this? How about we be nice to each other? Don't be douches, and have fun. Because if your fun comes from driving other people crazy, if your fun is to make sure the game is not fun for other players, then I think you're a douche, and I think that's not cool. How about trying to do something positive for the game? Try
it's
that.
Funny you say that.
Oh, really?
Well, I think it's funny you say, about being more positive in the game and being a plus, not a minus. I'm a sick bastard, so when it comes to stats.
You have no life.
I don't really.
The only thing you do is IWA.
That's right. I
That's
actually,
all you do.
I
You
can't.
don't even have a job.
No, I actually.
You live in a dumpster next to a computer.
I sneak into random places of work and take pictures of myself to make people think I actually have jobs.
Yeah. You travel to the IWA office with your belt.
I sell my semen for money.
That too.
All right, so what I did back in 2014, I'd won a whole ton of IWA credit. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a look at the entire game. So I had them December 2014. I got a bulletin from every league. I went through and kind of looked at the leagues. I cataloged how much activity there was, how many active wrestlers, how many cards, how many Battle Royal entries, was there trash talk, was there a commissioner's report, how many unclaimed titles were there, were the limits, were people winning credit. So the IWA this cycle, if you have not heard, kind of combine this as well, they went green. So if you want to just go online and check out the results for your league the day it posts, you can do that. You don't have to wait for the mailman to show up and give you a paper copy. You can go and check it all out. And of course, if you're like me and you want a paper copy, you can also go and check it out because you just wait for it to download. So what I did is, 2014, I combined these stats. So here's kind of the breakdown. Because one of the things you hear a lot of players is, oh my God, the IWA is still around? I thought it was dying. Or people going, the IWA is dying, man. It's dying, it's terrible. And the IWAR has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I'll get into that in a second. But here's an overall across the game look. In 2014, there were 2,262 wrestlers. They're now 3,559. So it's a plus of 1,297 wrestlers. Now, one thing I would take a look at that stat and say, you know what? If you consider there's a lot of big roster players, or there are a number of them, that does kind of bump things up, especially if you think, well, if one player runs 300 wrestlers, that's a lot right there, but that's still 1,000 wrestlers over. I have a thing what I call red zone leagues, which are leagues that are under 25 cards, which is sort of the danger zone. You don't get to like the death's door zone until like a 14 card realm, but leagues that are in bad shape. In 2014, there were 38 leagues out of 61 that were in bad shape. That's over half the game was in bad shape. Now there is only 23, so that's 15, so that's about a third of the league, but still that's an improvement overall. So now we're down 15 leagues that were bad, so it's in a lot better shape. The big stat for me is cards. We are plus 463 more cards, 2,101 versus 1,639 in 2014. So that's a nice improvement as well. You had 768 wrestlers in the Battle Royal this time around. That's 140 more than last time. The thing was, like, commissioners and leagues of trash talk were very similar as far as, like, we had 36 and 14, 34 and 17, 27 and 14, 29 and 17. So there are a lot more leagues, or not a lot more leagues, but still a lot of leagues of commissioners. So over half the game almost has a commissioner. That's really a good goal, because you do need some scrub leagues out there. But on a future show, we're going to address the topic of IWA commissioners putting in a ton of work for no response, no feedback, and how that can hurt the game and hurt the player most of all. Unclaimed titles across the IWA in 2014, there were 22 unclaimed titles. This time around, there were only 9. Leagues of roster limits. In 2014, there were 15 leagues of roster limits. In 2017, there were 14, but if you count the UWL, it actually had the same number. UWL was not playing this time, so I didn't count it for the numbers, but if we had, it would be an even bigger boost. IWA credit was $53 across 4 leagues in 2014. This time it was $70, but I don't know if any of the leagues still have credit besides the LWL and the BRL. I think as a whole, looking at these numbers, I posted them on our Facebook page, so go check out the IWAR network. You can see, if you look for State of the IWA, I think this debunks the myth that the game is dying, because it's not. And while I could be humble, I think it's due to the players in IWAR. We've seen a lot of guys come through the NWL, and I think the work that Juan Juan has put in the NWL has really changed the game, and we have more players being more involved, and the more involvement has helped. The LWL as well is also bigger. Back then, the LWL had about 20 active wrestlers, or active players. Now they have 32. So, the LWL has also grown, and that's a one wrestler per manager league. So that's very strong as well. And that actually is built so that when they hit that 30 wrestler target, the prize is doubled for the league champion. So it's in my judgment, the game's doing pretty damn well considering it reversed the trend of losing. Because in 2011 there were 81 leagues. I don't know how many of those leagues were quote unquote red zone leagues, but it's showing some positive change there. And as I always say, just because you're a trash talk fan, creative wrestler, doesn't mean you can't go to one of those smaller leagues and just try some things out with your wrestlers there and experiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the state of the IWA.
Fantastic.
Suck it.
So recently the UNL first cycle just ran. So Matt, after seeing the first cycle in the UNL, what are your thoughts on the league as we start off this run? Son
of a bitch. It's not Jade, so that's good. It's in the Bronze Federation.
Not an IWAR league. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Right. It's looking good. There's a lot of submissions of trash talk. The report opened things up. The league champion was Anne's bodyguard, Zhang Fi. There's some interesting wrestling names. Siberian Nightmare, Liberal Koloff. There's some Kardashians in here.
Bless their heart.
Yeah, the Mighty Kong is here. Texas Hick. There's a masked hillbilly. There's Soviet rocker Urination. Masanubu. So there's some interesting names in here. I noticed a lot of the guys on the UNL Facebook page. Yes, they have one.
Yes.
We're talking about their teams. A lot of guys did tag teams that had either the lost twin or the cousin from overseas. The Quebec Hitman is the #1 contender.
So let me stop you right there. You think it'd be a good idea to launch with the tag team title as a commissioner's championship, since everyone seems to be so invested in tag teams at this present moment?
It could be. I floated the idea, and of course he's going to have the final say. But I floated an idea of making it a true old school tag team league where every team has to be from two different, for instance, if you make the teams have to be Americans, then every guy, and just to back up, the UNL, United Nations League, you make two wrestlers. There's two wrestlers max. One wrestler has to be from the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and the rest have to be from international, anywhere in the world. So if you wanted to make a tag team and say, well, you got to have two guys from America or two guys from the continental Americas, you're going to have two different players running a tag team. A little bit of a curveball, I'd say.
Now, can you create alien wrestlers from another planet? Does that count?
It has not been ruled out.
Okay.
I know, but...
So, Seth, let me know if I can create alien wrestlers.
There you go. CC DeVille apparently came back from his retirement to...
Nice.
Out of retirement to wrestle. I will say my favorite wrestler scrub is probably the Decent Muta.
That's awesome.
Throwback, I didn't make that name up, but we used to have a thing in school. We used to bowl during our finals. It was a bowling alley near my high school. And we'd have this running gag about our names, so we used to bowl and call, I'm absolutely average, Mr. Average, because Mr. Perfect was just too good.
Yes.
But the Decent Muta, brought that back to memory there. There's also Alligator Dundee. Some other names are pretty decent too, but Ivan the Not Too Bad, also pretty swell. Yeah, so...
Eventually you might see an appearance by Luther Alexander because he is Russian. And,
yes.
And the immoral Bulk Logan.
Yes, and just so you know, you cannot transfer into the UNL.
Yeah,
you have to create
wrestlers.
Their opening card count was 48 cards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very strong start. Yeah, we were told you could send in matches. I sent in $5 worth of matches. Everyone was put in the Battle Royal, every single wrestler, so even the scrubs. And that was won by Siberian Nightmare, Liberal Koloff.
That's such a good name, too.
Yes. There's, of course, a static wrestling picture of two guys grappling, and then, of course, there's the report. So the report's there. Scott Anderson's the commish. So Scott Anderson, UNL@gmail.com. We'll get a hold of him. The rules are pretty basic. 2 wrestlers, national, 1 U.S., Canada, and they may take a 2-for-1 Battle Royal entries if they do the $12 match deal. So if you do the $12 deal, you get to do $13 to include both guys in the Battle Royal.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Prizes include 10 free matches to the champion if there are 15 active managers. We had 14 this cycle.
So close. Sorry.
Right. And then if we have 30 it's $12 in IWA credit. So the UNL could become a credit league. There are tournaments starting up soon, so there's lots going on. There's Tully Blanchard, some of the wrestler pictures I love.
And a real strong, first showing for the commish report too.
Yeah, so good start. So I think it'll be a fun league. I really think people will have a good time there. So if you're looking for a league in bronze, which is sort of that's a Monday morning deadline league. So like me, if you're like me, you like that weekend. So I enjoy having next Sunday and being able to get stuff in Monday morning. I would highly recommend it.
And guys, don't forget to check out the ASL as well, what I call a sophomore league. So if you are not 100% sure about your TT, about your strategies, and don't want to go into a super tough league right away, you can always head down to the ASL for some further seasoning by our good friend, Frank Snow.
Close personal friend.
Long-time personal friend for you. It's been 25 years?
Yes, you refereed my first match.
Yeah, there you go. So you'd be in good hands with the Leather Man. You should put that on a t-shirt. So I can officially announce the date for the IWAR pay-per-view War Games, hosted by the IWL. That will be the fall cycle, and then we'll do write-ups for, I guess that would be November cycle? I get confused with the weird names and stuff on which ones are first. So is October before fall?
Sure, but I don't know.
It'll be the fall cycle, and then the cycle after that we'll do some write-ups and stuff like that. Maybe I can talk Matt and give me an IWAR World Championship match on that show too. But we'll see how that goes. Don't forget, it's $5 entry. Okay, and for example, you can have wrestlers from any league in the IWAR. So, for example, Revolution Extreme, I could put a team together of Luther Alexander and the IWL, Phantom Striker, and the BRL. I can throw Noble House if I wanted to from the IWL. I can get Lord Drama from the NWL and make a team. We have such great stables. This will determine the best stable in the IWAR. So if it's Empire Chaos, Hard Foundation, TMS, Revolution Extreme.
Whoa. Empire Chaos. Come on now. Let's pump the brakes there.
The fans agree that Ryan Patrick must die.
The fans agree. It's in print. It must be true.
I heard the other day that he has feet fungus, and it's so bad that it crawls up his calf.
Oh, it's terrible.
Right? And it smells like fucking peanuts. So, my friend, please check that out. And the boys out there, please do not shower in the same shower as Ryan Patrick, or you'll get some sort of venereal foot disease because you don't know where his feet has been. I do, but it's gross and I can't say it on the air.
Oh, it's tough.
It smells like butt. All right. So, don't forget $5 per team. Now, for example, if your team has 2 managers, they will split the prize money 50-50. If you have 3 managers, you will split it 3 ways, regardless of how many of that particular manager's wrestlers on the team. For example, if I have 4 wrestlers and my good friend Stephen Blythe has 1 wrestler, we will split it 50-50. I think that's the fairest way to do it. Again, if you have 4 wrestlers and 1, it's 50-50. If it's 3, it's going to be in thirds. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys decimal points and IWA credit. It's just that's not going to happen. I apologize in advance for that. But if you have a stable of 5 guys, you get all the money. So just keep that in mind. Again, the winners. This is a one-night War Games tournament. Highest total strat will win. Period. No if, and, or buts. So check that out for fall. And don't forget $5 entry fee. You can get your fees in now because I'm going to email Kim tomorrow to let her know this when we're doing this contest. So you can email her tomorrow, get your $5 in early, start trash talking about it, posting stuff on the boards, and then as soon as I have all the teams set and ready to go, I will post the brackets. So we are officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, Jake Joyce, I'm Juan Cena. Have a good night.